Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your guy FrosT, and after a hiatus, I am back with some high descent gameplay. I know it's been a minute. There's been a lot going on personally, a lot going on professionally, and I spent actually October traveling in Japan, so I am back. I'm playing this November season, um, and today I'm going to take you through day 28 of this season. Season 151, November 2024. It's been a very interesting season. I have some thoughts that I want to share on that. I want to talk about, my opinion as to the status of the game right now. And then I want to talk a little bit about, things I liked about 2024 and where I think HD should be going in 2025. I'll also show you how I quickly evaluate my battle scripts. But in order to do that, let's take a look at actually what I'm working with here. So I'm going to spy myself um, so you can see where we're starting from today. So I'm going with a setup this season that I did when I won in July. So it's the two Berserker setup. It is the Crusader, the Executioner, three bows, and a Knight. Um, this is what I used to win in July. I was able to still overpower other triangles and attack some offensive melee for a while. Um, and so, you know, I'm happy with how I've played this season. I'm not happy with my current placement, but, um, there's only so much you can do about that given the variables. So, the one difference I did this season was I actually started by level 20 with three melee and one bow. And I found that gave me a really good advantage up front. My melee mercenaries, leveled up pretty evenly. Whereas in the past, you would try to add those mercs and you'd have to either attack low or just hope to God they'd survive. So anyway, we don't need to look at these anymore. So that's what I'm working with. One thing to note today that I am going to hit level 35 on my composite bow. And that should be a huge damage spike, which will allow me to hopefully attack a little more aggressively than I have been over the last few days. I did try and attack a little aggressive yesterday. I lost two, and which puts me at 4 for this season. So that wasn't great, but hopefully today we can do a little bit better. So just a quick recap. I have 2,509 points to get in order to rank. It doesn't really matter if I rank today, to be honest, because if I rank today, I probably won't rank tomorrow. And I actually still need 4 points to get my 16th attack anyway. So I'm only allocating one more attack. If I get it today to 4 points, great. If not, it's going to be easier for me to level up the next day anyway. So in order to start, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm getting as close as possible to level 35 so that I can actually attack higher targets with my last few attacks. So I'm going to go in and run my archery ranges. And one thing I like to do actually is just sort of measure like how many misses I'm getting versus bullseyes, and I try to keep track of that mentally. It helps me with my allocation. So this season I actually had lower damage and I wanted to scale my accuracy up to about 150 as soon as possible without sacrificing too much firepower so that I could be the guy that's getting to the level 28 and 35 arrows first. So here I'm just going to do Control F and see how many times I missed. So I had missed twice. Yeah. And then bullseyes I got, it doesn't always say bullseye. So I actually just checked this here. 132, 126, 2, 3 bullseyes, 4, 5. So 5 bullseyes. That's just in the first 20. So that's a pretty good rate. I like when I have more bullseyes than misses, of course. I'm just going to vote really quickly. And I'm glad I didn't have to do that matching game. Terrible at that. Just gonna redeem these and booming bow. One day I did the wrong bowman, and that was not really good. So 66, that's fine. Just want to take a quick look and see how much I need. So I only need 1,273 points to get to the level 35 arrows, which is great. I can attack some of my easier targets easier. I say that. There's no easy targets at this point. Everyone's got level 28 arrows, and people have fully developed melee front lines, and there's a lot of people with critical hit archers that can cause some problems. Like that's actually what happened to me yesterday. So But despite that, I'm going to try and see how far along I can get to level 35 before I spend my salary. So I've got 15,000 gold to start, and I want to put it into my arrows. I've been spending the last few days working on my defense so that I had a strong defensive base when I did spike my offense. So I'm just gonna go to my registry here and see. I probably want to shave. Like, I'm looking at my list yesterday. I would love this to be sortable, like last attack, value, rank. Like, I know it kind of comes in GP format anyway, but like I would like to sort last attack by date so I could see exactly who I attacked yesterday. Now, in this case, I guess it's not so bad because there's only one person that I didn't hit yesterday on my registry. I think I'm more or less hitting the same people today. From what I remember, I kind of did some prep work before just to kind of take a look. But I will start with my friend Dumb over here. He's got a bow 639, 150 going up against melee walls of 700 and 149. So accuracy is a match, but I have plus 60 defense over him. I've also got a Crusader that's pretty sturdy as well. 761 defense, 102 agility. I feel pretty good about this. I could get crit here. I could get a reg hit here, but at this point, anything's possible. His front line's pretty strong too. 610, 168 agility. Like that's something to consider for sure. But I've got 165 accuracy, so I feel good about this. I'm just gonna launch this battle here, and I'm just looking to, of course, to just pound his walls down and kill everything else afterwards. So it looks pretty good here. Pretty safe standard win. This Berserker almost died. This Berserker actually got a really good increase yesterday, plus 50 defense. So he's living, which is great. Let's take a look here. Europa has a really strong melee, I think. So he's got like a bunch of crit bows, right? So 213, 213, 228, 211, 211. That's a lot. And he's put some speed on it as well. So he's going to control more of the script than I will have. So I do factor those kind of things in. 738, 104 with a lot of HP. Like, that's going to take a long time for me to kill. And I am susceptible here to getting crits, but I feel pretty good about it. So I think I'm going to, I'm going to retaliate here. But this will be a long script because of the Europa Merc. So just going through this here and taking some damage on my front line. Ganymede is the Crusader, yeah. So we know this. We expected this. And we eventually got him on a critical hit here. A monstrous 700 damage crit, which is great. Let's just see how his melee took damage. 134, 152. Okay, so it was 904, and then it was 152. So it looks like there was a crit here as well. Another crit. So another 750 damage crit. Sometimes if I want to like check the script for things like crits, I'll just Control F and just take a look at what the critical hits, what they look like in terms of their damage. So there's 9 critical hits here in this script. Callisto 549, 453, 461, and then I had my massive ones, 387 from him, 513. So already when I'm looking at this script, I'm noticing that his crit bows are critting me for about, let's say, maybe 500 on average. So when I'm allocating HP to my mercenaries, I do keep that in mind, right? Like, if I know a typical crit is 500, you want to have at least 1,000. You want to be able to survive at least 2 of those, preferably 3 if you can get there. But I would probably lose too much defense, so it's a tough trade-off. But that's how I use the script to sort of steer where I allocate. So anyway, that's done. I did lose 1 Merc, which is disappointing, but at this stage it does happen. Regidor, I think he has a pretty standard triangle as well with high accuracy bow. Looks like he's like spread it out almost because there's no real standout bow. Like this is kind of fast. Yeah, like there's a lot of I don't know, it's very mid, but um, the structure is there. It's just the allocations and strength is really not. So I'm just gonna go through this here. I expect this to be fairly easy, although I did get my berserker killed, and I probably will lose that second one. Oh, did not. But yeah, like my swordsman didn't take like any damage at all really, and my axeman took like 100. So that's great. Somebody leveled up. Let's just take a quick look. My thoughts on this season as I continue to play. It's if there was an adjective I'd use to describe this season, I would say it's artificial. I think it's been really frustrating to like make any sort of movement up in the standings, and I think a lot of that has to do with again like we've got the Maltese playing, and so for those who don't know, there are these accounts who have setups that are all very similar and all very beatable, and they are all in the sort of like 29 to 40 range. And if you take a look at like the registry and you look at the top 50 and you see the difference in value, um, it's a bit more pronounced now. Like it's 165 versus 187, but for the longest time this season, the difference in nobility point value was not very high at all. And so people were able to just allocate more attacks and beat these easy targets, who were playing like basically NPC type setups. And it really wasn't a lot of originality this season, and I found that extremely frustrating to sort of play with and deal with. So I'm playing this out, but it's very frustrating and very disappointing. And so to that end, like in terms of where we're at, in terms of HD, I would really love to see an emphasis be placed on like player growth. Let's grow the player base. But in order to do that, we need a game that is like working, that we don't need to consistently patch from month to month. And it's not to say that HD is not working. It's just this season was a little messy, like mounted or like overpowered. We went too far like the other way when it comes to offensive mounted. Like triangles don't stand a chance against it, where before mounted would normally win, but if you had like pitted your mount and put a lot of resources into a defensive mount, you could get away with like attacking some mounted people. And so we're not able to do that right now, and I think that's a bit problematic. I think you want to have everything balanced out so that mounted can beat triangles. However, a triangle can wall off a mount should they choose to. And then furthermore, I actually think that there should be another counterbalance put in there for mounted to counter that strategy. And so I have some ideas, and we've talked about it on the DevCom channel, but nothing is set in stone as of yet. So I'm just going through some of these battles real quick here. So we got to level up the baby bows. I want to put the accuracy on these up because I want to see if I can land some lucky crits on some other people before the season ends. So that's that. I think Cypher. Let's take a quick look here. This is an interesting setup. He's got a ton of agility on this, so he's probably using this to hopefully counter other people's offensive melee. But then like he's also got offensive melee attacking as well. And I think there's something to this setup that we can learn for future seasons. Like, and he's also got the big Death Knight too. Like I would imagine he's a pain in the ass for offensive melee people to attack, unless you're really overpowered. Like this is a really cool hybrid setup. So anyway, let's just give it a shot here. And I like I said, I would like there to be more focus on development in 2025. Let's grow the player base. Could we get maybe 50 more people playing? That would make a huge difference in the quality of gameplay, because this has just been really, really frustrating. So we need 2 more wins to get to level 35, and then the game's going to open up a little bit for me today. So donuts, let's see, donut 736, 690, 110. That's pretty good. 656, 129. So his setup's very compact. I do like it. I might have actually played a setup like this had I known the Maltese were going to play the entire season. But let's do this. I'm going to actually... There's no more people like I need to swap my armor to attack these mounted players. I could probably beat Donut as is, but I think there is an easier attack for me to do if I just switch the armor on my Merc. So what I'm doing here is I'm sharing this set of armor, which is enhanced, I think it's 26 times between this Crusader and the Knight, which like they're typically about the same level. Like I think this Crusader is about to level up. Oh, maybe not. It used to be a lot less, but I think the Crusader's been getting critted. But they share armor, the Crusader and the Knight. That way I'm not having to enhance multiple pieces of armor. I can actually focus on making like the strongest points of my triangle the actual strongest points of my triangle. So I'm just going to take this armor, move it over. I'm going to take this armor and put it on the Crusader. Mounted targets don't have strong bowmen, so I don't even need to have a lot of defense on my Crusader to deal with those targets, right? So 647, 101, like that's fine. And when you look at my mount now, it's 506 defense, 246 agility. I added some HP because I've been losing health in a lot of my battles anyway, so I'm going to hit a couple of these mounted targets to hopefully get my bowman to level 35, and then I can go back to hitting some of these triangles and perhaps attacking up even a little bit. So Jib, he is at by level 14. He has stacked a ton of attacks, and he is about, I think, almost an entire day ahead of second place. Like I think it's 1,800 points. And people on average yesterday were getting like, what, 2,500, 2,400. So he's been really dominating because he's been able to attack a lot of those multi-accounts with Dukes, these overpowered Dukes that we've come to love this season. So this is a bit of a risk, right? He's got 474, he's got 482, 401 is not so bad. But we're looking at 506 defense, 246 agility. I do feel good. I have 10% more agility than the accuracy, and my defense covers. I was also able to get some HP on, so I think that this Knight can either hold off the other Knights or can at least hold them off long enough so my bow at 660 damage can break through these duelists and that fiend. So I feel good about this. And again, like if I attack Jib with my base stats, so like if I were to take a quick look here, the armor swap gave me, I think it's 114 defense. So and that's just a way to efficiently manage your gold. So anyway, I'm gonna attack Jib, and the way this battle script's loading, it looks like he might have backdoored me though. Got me kind of scared. Look at that. 18 HP. Wow. And he did get me. Look at that. I still won though because my my melee are able to counter his Dukes, but that doesn't help because I need to get to level 35. So that's really unfortunate, but at least I won the fight, right? So like I had 6 counters, I guess, counter kills, and then my Berserker took care of everything else. So one of my melees leveled up, so that's the Executioner. Going to 149 agility is kind of low at this point. I don't like to allocate to agility here. I would love to stack on defense as these damage numbers are getting bigger, but I do need to make sure I'm not getting like these monster crits on my Axemen. So that didn't work out that well. So let's just see here. Marduk also has like this weird hybrid Knight setup. So this Berserker is pretty tough, but I can get by that. 429, 185. I have to keep the armor on. And he's got these really interesting Knights. Like this is the model of Knight that I think would be really interesting to try on someone, I guess, placed higher. Like could somebody in, say, top 10 right now have a setup like this with 2 Knights? Look at this. There's like 2,000 HP between them. A ton of defense. Low agility. They're going to get hit, but they have HP to absorb it, right? There's a lot of meat that's there. So it's an interesting setup that he has. Like I think that's an interesting build for a Knight. So we'll just take a quick look here. And even with the armor swap, my melee are good. It's 172 points. That's great. Someone else leveled up. I think that's, yeah, this Berserker right here. I'm going to go 2 more levels of defense and then stack on some agility. At this point, enhancing to Berserkers, like, there's no point. It just takes sort of the hand-me-down leftover equipment from other melees. So I need 1 more win before I can get to level 35 and really spike my power. Let's see what Ivory has. Ivory has, I think it's, yeah, so 482, 226. I mean, that's risky, but the other knights aren't so much of a threat. It's just the one. Whereas Jib had a few that were like 482, 472. So I do feel good about this. I'm going to hit Ivory here. And looks like, yeah, so it's just a defensive knight at this point. We are good. 172. That should be my level 35 power right there, which will allow me to consider other targets. So I'm going to just sell the bows and reuse the gold. I'm not going to pass anything down. That is an option sometimes, but I really need the power right now. So I'm going to take the gold. I'm going to buy the arrows for the booming bow. And I'm going to be a lot stronger now, which is great. So got 36,000 gold I can throw into this. I'm actually going to joust first because I want to take every ounce of gold I have. So I'm just going to... I've just been raw dogging it. It's just like as soon as you jump into the jousting screen, I'm picking the guy on top, and I'm picking 5 out of 10 odds. So 145 max bet to win 217. We started with 36206. Just to get through this real quick. All right. I think that should be 15. Whoop, 1 more. 369, 362. So plus 700 gold. That's not much, but that's better than losing. Enhance these guys here. We're going to throw it all there. 69 enhancements, and I've still got some gold to play with. I do need to figure out what I want to do with my body armor. This guy hit level 33. This guy hit level 29. At the very least, I'm going to replace... Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this. For plus 6 enhancements, like the level 33 and level 29 difference is plus 6. It's not really like to go back and re-enhance it. It's not really great. And then to move the armor to lesser mercs, yeah, I could do that. But Berserkers tend to last because of their agility anyway, not because of their defense. So I'm not sure I want to do that. Let's see where this guy's at here. He's 519. I think that went down quite a bit because he had the really heavy armor from the other Crusader. So yeah, I lost some. Maybe what I'll do is I'll get this to the same as that. So just give that, what, 16? Yeah, 16. And then I'll profit the rest. So Brave Berserker, 16 enhancements. And then... Whoops. You want to sell armor. No one's level 25 or 24 anymore, so this gold just goes right back in, and now I've got 9,000 gold to spend on something else. As tempting as it is to put it into the bow, I think what I'm going to do is put it into my axeman. So yesterday I did an armor upgrade on my axeman, and then I passed the armor down to other mercenaries. So I think what I'll do is I'll replace these enhancements from yesterday. And 4 pieces, 9,000. Quick math here. Yeah, 2,250. So let's go 2,300. Let's see what we can do. So plus 16, that's pretty solid for my best melee merc. Well, best overall melee merc. So we've got these guys balanced. Everything is good. Still have to do the armor swap back the other way if I want to attack some triangles again, but 716 defense on the Executioner, 156 is great. A lot of bows have between 150 and 170. Well, like 165, I guess, is the high end. And then my bow is at 751 damage, which is enough, I think, to do what I want to do today. So next would be Sleeping Forest. Let's just take a quick look. They have a really strong mount too. 474, 224. Very, very fast mount too, gosh. And then this guy's not too bad either. He's got sort of this mounted going on, but I like my chances with 751 damage, so I think I can get through his melee before he can get through my mounted. So I'm going to do this attack as well. And looks like I won that bet. Another thing to do if you're playing mounted, so I did it with crits, but you can also do it with counters. So I can actually take a look and see how many counters happen in a battle, and I can use that to sort of guide my allocation. So say I was like Sleepy Night and I was reading this script, like a defensive script. You can see, okay, so I countered for 272, I counted for 343, I counted for 298, I counted for 318, I counted for 363, 273, 174, not a ton there, but 267. So you kind of get the idea, like 245, 442. Death Knights are countering at a rate of roughly 300 damage per. So if you have offensive knights and you have only 300 HP and you're looking to attack a target like this, or someone with, you know, a 500 defense or a 240 agility knight, you know, you probably need enough HP to survive 2 counters. So that's just something you can use as well to steer your battle. Again, 314, 375, and so typical counters are about 300 damage. So it looks like I countered all of his mounts, which is great. He doesn't really have a chance at this point. 174, that's great. I have 5 attacks left. Definitely want to hit Donut. I definitely want to hit Ryman. I do want to hit Israel. And then I'm actually looking at Shiny and 4 Shard as my last 2. So I cut these 2 off, and I'm trying to add Shiny and 4 Shard. But in order to even have a chance at that, I have to switch the armor back to where it came from, and we'll have a better look once everything is back where it belongs. So you can see here I've got this set of armor, and one on the swordsman, and yep, 761. So now I can put this set of armor back on my mount, because these other guys don't pose a threat to my mounted. It's more so my front line, and this will save you some gold and help you direct where you spend your salary each day, because it's hard to touch everywhere, right? So 716, 156. Let's actually do a quick summary view. So 535, 200. I think I upgraded the shield on this one and not on that one, but that's fine. 761, 102, 716, 156. These sort of crit damagey bows. That's not much we can do there. And 750. Okay, cool. So of this bunch, I feel the most comfortable attacking Donut first. And, you know, he's got a very powerful setup, but I do have the level 35 arrows, so I feel really confident with that. That critical hit for the Crusader. All right, so that's that. Ryman got me yesterday because he's got this really big Crusader, right? So this Titan guy here, level 30, 740, 106 agility. I just couldn't kill it yesterday, and he has like these very dangerous crit bows. But I, again, with 750 damage, 169 accuracy, I already have this defense covered. I have this more than covered, like 1.5 times. I do think that I can break through first. So I'm going to give him a shot. I did lose to him yesterday, but I think this upgrade's enough. So let's just see what we get this time around. So it's still a long script. Still took a while to like decide this battle. But this looks more like what I've been used to seeing in my battles versus him. Look at this, 40 HP. This thing just won't die. Finally got him. But it's amazing how well like one Crusader can do sometimes. And then other battles, it just gets crit for like 900 damage. Like this thing is holding on for like 200 lines with 200 HP against a really, really powerful bow that was just upgraded. It's pretty crazy. So 3 attacks left. I still got 2,000 gold. It's not going to get me much, but what can I do? Definitely upgrade that. Could spread the love this way too. Like one more enhancement, perhaps. I'm just short. I can glad pit though, so I'll do the Axeman and 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoops, just 6. There we go. More voting. Oh man. Just gonna do this here. So, all right. So he's not gonna level again today, but that's okay. 716 defense. And get that to 720. I like those round numbers. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I've got 300 gold left. I've got a few attacks remaining. Yeah, 720, 156. I feel good about that. And 761, 102. So we will check that out. Right, so just want to see. Okay, so we've got Azrael, and then I'm considering Shiny and 4 Shard as well. Let's see what Shiny's got actually. So 456. That's his Knight. That doesn't really matter. 790. Sorry, 690, 137. He's got these bows with no accuracy at all. It's very dangerous actually for this Crusader. 698, 164. Like that is a whole lot of like merc, man. He's got a ton of agility. These have different identities, which I think is really cool. But you can see again, like I started with 3 melee. He picked those up later, and so his are level 25 and mine are like level 29. And even if I were to say what mine were yesterday one was level 29 and one was level 28. So I've still got that advantage, and that's why I like starting by level 20 that way from now on. Like it's just the way I prefer. So I will probably attack him. That's like again a kind of risk I want to take at this point. It's so tight right now in the standings. I fell 5 places just by losing 2 attacks. And then who else were we looking at? Azrael as well. So 718, 160. That's really great. A lot of HP. Very strong. This Crusader's got a lot of HP, which is great. Other than that, it's not too strong, but he has a really good bow, right? 660 damage, 140 accuracy. But my bow's got 750 damage and 169 accuracy. So I could get really unlucky with the crits. Speed is a factor that needs to like be considered, right? So like I can assume, for example, in this script, he's got what? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do this really quickly. So one of the things I do to sort of evaluate like how much of the script you control is just to take a look at the speed, right? So his big bow is 62. He's got a crit bow at 95.6. He's got 3 with 87.2. So plus 87.2 plus 87.2 plus 87.2. So he's got 419 speed. On my end, I've got 62 plus 62 plus 65, 189 speed. So I know that he's going to have control of probably 60 to 65% of this script. I just need to make sure that I survive these critical hits that are going to come. So we'll launch this one and see how it goes. Looks like there's one crit there. Looks like there was another crit there. I'm going to go through this after. Another crit there. So the swordsman went down, which is not good for the others. I'm surprised these berserkers are alive because, oh, there it died. But great. So again, what I'll do is I'll take a look at the crits and see. So there's 5 critical hits in this entire battle script. 460, 304, 424, 324. I'm not going to count this. This is a bow versus a bow. That's not really something that can give us valuable information on how to configure a bow or a melee for that matter. So it was about 400 damage per crit. So the swordsman died because it took regular damage as well. But ideally, I would like to have like 1500 HP on my Crusader if I could. But that might be a hint for my next level allocation points go towards on my Crusader. So got through him, which is great. Just need to see now with the last two here what I want to do. So there's shiny and there's 4 shard to consider. Just want to take a quick look here at our last couple of targets. Sorry about that awkward skip and a jump. My computer was lagging, so not sure what was going on there. But I've got 2 attacks left, and I'm considering shiny and 4 shard. Very ballsy attacks to make, but at this point in the season, with everything being so tight and so close, I could play it safe, but I do want to try and put some pressure and gain some ground, make one last run here for, I guess, what would be a top 10 spot. Just seeing here, we got some more lag. One sec. Yeah, sorry about that again. I'm not sure what's going on, but I was considering attacking shiny and 4 shard today with my last 2 attacks. I'm just going to take a quick look here at what they've got. So he's doing the same thing with his knight. His knight's very weak, but he probably swaps a stronger set of armor onto him in order to attack mounted targets. He's got a lot of crit bows, and they're very fast. He's got a powerful regular bow and a junior bow that's actually pretty good too. This is the problem. This guy here, 675 defense, 200 agility. This thing's a monster, and it probably gives him a lot of confidence to do some of the attacks I've seen him do this season. You know, I probably shouldn't attack that, but I think I'm going to. But at first, I'm going to attack shiny. And we'll see how that one goes. He's got a ton of power as well. He's got a really good executioner, but I'm going to give him a run. So anyway, I'm dealing with more lag issues. So while I wait for that, I haven't talked about, I guess, my thoughts on HD, the status of the game. I think right now we've done some really good things this year. Like, I think the Discord's been a really positive thing. You know, I think earlier in the year we were having like sort of watch parties where people were doing their attacks, right? Like Lance did one, and we've had a few other players do streams and whatnot. So I thought that was really positive, really exciting. I'd like to get back to some of that, especially in these winter months. But there's got to be, you know, some more excitement around the game, and I think with some of the changes that we have coming, that will happen. I think, again, we need to focus on player growth in 2025, and I have some ideas on that. You know, I would love there to be like 50 new players here this time next year, 50 new actual players. And I don't think that's really like a stretch. I think that's something we could probably do. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, this is 4 shard, the last attack. Let's see how this one goes. He's got a giant triangle, 5, 4, and 1. And I don't love that format, but he's done really, really well with it. And so, you know, can't really hate. It's been very, very effective. So he's been attacking me like every day. So it worked out well for me today because of the power boost from the level 35 arrows. And my swordsman leveled up on my last attack, which is great. And as I alluded to earlier, I want more HP. I want to survive these crits. Like these crits are like 3, 4, 500 damage each. So I'm gonna allocate another 120. That will put me to about 1450. And as you can see here, like I've got a lot of lag. I think it's my internet, but yeah. So that's that. Let's just confirm 1451. So that's as much HP as I've ever had on a Crusader, but I think this season with so many people going with crit bows, it's necessary. Like Ryman got me yesterday on that. So anyway, that's it for me today. I pulled 2647, which is great. I've jumped Zeratul back towards the top 10 again, and I am right on Obley's trail as well with about 95 points behind him, I guess. Looks like I out-earned Ryman, and Gibby's just running up the standings though. I think it's his a really positive season if you're running offensive mounts, and you know, we want to again work on coming to some sort of point where it's more balanced again, where somebody with a pitted knight could attack mounted. But we'll have to see. That's it for me today, and there'll be more of this in the future. So, until next time, peace.